There is a question many men carry in silence for years, a question that resurfaces in the quiet moments when the excitement is gone and all that remains is reflection. What really happens to a man after he becomes involved with another man's wife? At the time, it may feel thrilling, forbidden, even intoxicating. You may tell yourself it was only physical. You may convince yourself she was unhappy, neglected, emotionally distant, and that you were simply giving her what she believed was missing. Or perhaps you knew exactly what you were stepping into and chose not to think too deeply about the consequences. But sooner or later, when the emotions settle and the story is no longer new, something begins to linger beneath the surface. It is not always guilt, and it is rarely pride. It is something far more unsettling. A quiet psychological weight, an unanswered question that follows you long after the relationship ends. What was she truly searching for? What emptiness was she trying to escape? Why were you drawn to someone who was already committed to another life? And what does that experience reveal about desire, loneliness, emotional hunger, and the hidden forces that shape human behavior? These are the questions most people avoid because they force us to confront uncomfortable truths about relationships and about ourselves. We prefer simple explanations. She was unhappy, he was selfish, it just happened. But human behavior is rarely that simple. Behind every secret affair is a deeper story involving unmet needs, internal conflict, emotional dissatisfaction, and the powerful psychological patterns that drive people toward choices they once believed they would never make. This is not about condemning anyone or assigning blame. It is not about labeling one person as good and another as bad. It is about understanding the invisible mechanisms operating beneath attraction and betrayal. Why does a married woman risk everything for a relationship outside her marriage? Why do some men feel intensely drawn to women who are emotionally or legally unavailable? Why does the forbidden often feel more compelling than the accessible? And why do these experiences leave such a lasting imprint on the mind? The answers reveal something profound about human nature. They expose how unmet emotional needs can override logic, how loneliness can distort judgment, and how desire often leads us toward situations that reflect unresolved issues within ourselves. Most people go through life repeating these patterns without ever stopping to examine them. They experience attraction, heartbreak, betrayal, and regret, yet never understand the deeper forces behind their choices. But when you begin to see the psychology beneath these behaviors, everything changes. What once looked like a simple affair becomes a window into attachment, validation, unmet expectations, and the universal longing to feel chosen and understood. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear may challenge the way you think about love, temptation, and infidelity. By the end, you will not only understand why married women step outside their relationships and why certain men become entangled in those situations, but you may also gain a clearer understanding of your own desires, vulnerabilities, and decisions. And once you see these patterns for what they truly are, you will never look at relationships or yourself the same way again. Most people move through relationships on instinct, reacting, assuming, repeating. But a few choose something different. They pause, they observe, they understand. If you're the kind of person who questions patterns instead of blindly following them, who wants clarity instead of confusion, awareness instead of reaction, then you're exactly where you need to be. This isn't about taking sides. It's about seeing things for what they are, without distortion, without ego. If that mindset speaks to you, subscribe and stay connected. Add your perspective in the comments. The conversation matters here. Background work. No narratives. Just deeper understanding and better decisions. To understand why a married woman looks outside her marriage, we must first look at a psychological process called compartmentalization. This is a mental defense mechanism where a person separates their life into different, isolated boxes that do not touch each other. In one box, she has her husband, her children, her family duties, and her public reputation. In another completely separate box, she places the secret partner. When she is with the secret partner, she can be a completely different character. Free from stress, free from bills, and free from the history of her real life. The dangerous trap for the outside man is believing that the version of her in the secret box is her true self. In reality, it is a highly curated, stress-free character that can only exist because it has zero real-world responsibilities attached to it. The moment real life, like paying rent, doing chores, or dealing with sickness, enters that box, the fantasy breaks, and the attraction often disappears instantly. Another critical pattern we observe in relationship psychology is triangulation. This happens when a person uses a third individual to create stability, reduce stress, or create a power balance in their primary relationship. When a marriage becomes distant or full of conflict, instead of fixing the issue with her husband or leaving the marriage, a woman might pull a third person in to fill her emotional gaps. The outside man provides the affection, the compliments, and the validation that are missing at home. This extra supply actually gives her the patience and energy to go back and stay in her unhappy marriage. Paradoxically, by being the secret partner, you are often not helping her leave her husband. You are acting as the stabilizing force that keeps her marriage together. You are absorbing the shock of her marital problems, allowing her to tolerate a situation she would otherwise have to face or walk away from. Let's look at the story of a man named Gary. Gary met a married woman through his workplace, and they quickly developed a secret relationship. She told Gary that her husband was cold, that they hadn't shared an intimate moment in years, and that she was planning to leave him as soon as her youngest child finished high school. Gary believed her completely and invested his whole heart into the situation. He spent 2 years waiting for her, refusing to date free, single women who were interested in him. He spent his weekends alone because she had to be with her family, and he spent holidays waiting for a single text message sent from a hidden phone in a bathroom. Whenever Gary asked when she would finally leave her husband, she would cry and tell him he was putting too much pressure on her. Eventually, her husband discovered the secret messages. Instead of leaving him to be with Gary, she immediately cut off all contact with Gary, blocked his number, and went to marriage counseling with her husband to save her family. Gary was left completely broken, confused, and discarded. Gary's mistake was ignoring the behavioral data. He listened to her words instead of watching her actions. He didn't realize that she was using him as an emotional escape hatch, not as a future partner. Gary learned that when you accept a position as a secret, you are agreeing to a contract where you can be deleted the moment the truth becomes inconvenient. We must also look at the low-cost investment model. In human behavior, we value what we have to work for and protect. In a normal relationship, a man has to invest his time, meet the family, support his partner through bad days, and build a public life together. But in a secret dynamic with a married person, the investment model is upside down. The outside man gets high emotional and physical rewards with very little initial effort, but he pays a massive tax in the form of anxiety, low self-esteem, and wasted time. The married partner also gets a high reward without having to risk anything in her daily life, until she gets caught. This dynamic creates a false sense of intimacy. Because you cannot see each other normally, every meeting is full of intense emotion and drama. This intensity is often mistaken for deep love, but in psychology, we know it is just a high dose of dopamine caused by the secrecy and the fear of getting caught. It is an addiction to the situation, not a healthy connection to the person. Another major behavioral trend to notice is the narrative of the victim. In almost every case where an individual enters a secret relationship with a married person, they are fed a very specific story about the spouse. The spouse is described as mean, neglectful, crazy, or emotionally abusive. While some marriages are indeed difficult, a high-value observer must understand that you are only hearing one side of a very complicated history. The married person must paint their spouse as the villain to justify their own betrayal in your eyes and in their own mind. This is a psychological tool to reduce cognitive dissonance, the mental pain of doing something that goes against your own moral standards. If she can convince herself and you that her husband deserves to be deceived, she can feel like a good person while participating in a secret life. If you accept this narrative blindly, you become an actor in a play you did not write, defending someone who is actively choosing to stay in the very situation they complain about. Observations of human behavior suggest that involvement with a married person damages your internal psychological alignment. Every time you agree to hide in a shadow, to avoid public places, or to be rushed out of a house before someone comes home, you are sending a subconscious signal to your own brain that you are a second-class option. You are training yourself to accept crumbs of attention. This erodes your masculine pride and your self-worth over time. A man who values his time and identity does not participate in situations where he must be kept a secret. He understands that a woman who truly values him will clear her life completely so she can stand beside him in the daylight, proudly, without fear or deceit. If you find yourself in this situation, the path to reclaiming your power requires you to look at the exit reality. Look at the statistics and behavioral trends of what happens even when a married person does leave their spouse for the secret partner. Those relationships have a very high rate of failure. Why? Because the entire foundation of the relationship was built on a lack of trust, secrecy, and betrayal. The new relationship carries the ghost of the past. The moment the new relationship faces standard life stress, the outside partner begins to think, if she could deceive her first husband for 2 years with me, what stops her from doing the same thing to me when things get boring? The trust is broken from day one because you witnessed firsthand how she treats a commitment when her feelings fade. Reclaiming your center means stepping out of the fantasy triangle completely. It means realizing that your emotional energy is too precious to be used as a cheap resource to fix someone else's broken home. You must be willing to close the door on the secret box, even if the withdrawal from the dopamine high is painful. Real growth begins when you decide that you no longer want to be an option, an escape, or a shadow. You deserve a clean, transparent, and balanced connection where you don't have to look over your shoulder or wait for a hidden text message to feel valued. We have looked at how compartmentalization creates a false character and how triangulation uses an outside person to keep an unhappy marriage stable. When you stay in a secret relationship, you are helping someone else avoid their real life while you waste your own time in the dark. Now, we must look at the second half of this psychological dynamic. We will look at how to break free from this addictive loop, how to handle the emotional withdrawal, and how to build a clear boundary so you never find yourself playing the role of a secret option ever again. In relationship psychology, there is a concept called the dopamine loop of intermittent reinforcement. This is a big name for a very simple behavioral trend. It means that when a reward is unpredictable, meaning you only get it sometimes without a fixed schedule, your brain becomes highly addicted to it. In a normal relationship, attention is steady and predictable, so your chemicals stay calm. But with a married woman, you never know when she will text, when she can sneak out to see you, or when she will disappear for a weekend. This constant switching between high excitement and deep loneliness creates a massive chemical spike in your brain. You become addicted to the high of her return. You must realize that what you are feeling isn't necessarily a deep soul connection. It is often just your brain reacting to an unstable reward system. If this is hitting, it's because you're not here for noise. You're here to understand. Most people react. Few people step back and actually think. This space is for those who question before they conclude and look deeper instead of louder. If that's how you move, subscribe and stay tapped in. Drop your perspective below. That's where the real conversations happen. Clarity over confusion. Awareness over assumption. Now let's go deeper. To break this loop, you have to look at the situation with radical acceptance. This means you must stop listening to her promises about the future and start looking only at her current actions. If she has been telling you for a year that she is going to leave her husband, but she still lives in his house, goes to family dinners with him, and shares a bank account with him, then the data is clear. She has already chosen her reality. She chooses her marriage for her security and stability, and she chooses you for her entertainment. By seeing this clearly, you can stop feeling like a romantic hero in a movie and realize you are just a supporting actor in her personal drama. Let's look at a story of a man named Vincent who found his way out of this trap. Vincent was seeing a married woman for over 18 months. He truly believed they were meant to be together. One day, Vincent had a minor accident and ended up in the hospital for 2 days. He called her, but she told him she couldn't visit him because her husband's family was in town and it would look too suspicious if she disappeared. As Vincent sat alone in that hospital room, looking at the empty chair next to his bed, a light switch went off in his mind. He realized that during his most vulnerable moment, his partner was completely unavailable because her primary loyalty belonged to another man. Vincent didn't get angry or scream at her when she finally called him 2 days later. He simply said, "I now see the true structure of this situation. I value myself too much to be a relationship that has to be hidden when life gets real. I wish you well, but I am out." Vincent blocked her completely and spent the next 6 months focusing on his own fitness, his career, and his true friends. This positive outcome happened because Vincent used his pain as data to reset his boundaries. He learned that a man's worth is defined by what he is willing to tolerate. Today, Vincent is in a healthy, transparent relationship with a single woman who holds his hand proudly in public, proving that the sun is always better than the shadows. Observations of human behavior suggest that many men enter these secret dynamics because they have a subconscious fear of real intimacy. Being with a married person is safe in a strange way. Because she can never fully be yours, you never have to face the real-world challenges of a true partnership. You don't have to merge your lives, handle daily friction, or worry about deep vulnerability. It is a form of emotional cowardice hidden behind a curtain of high drama. If you find yourself repeatedly drawn to unavailable people, you must turn the mirror on yourself and ask, am I choosing secrets because I am afraid to be fully seen and judged in a real, open relationship? Another behavioral trend to understand is the cleanup phase. When a secret relationship ends, the married person often undergoes a psychological shift where they try to delete the evidence of their transgression to fix their conscience. They might suddenly treat you like an enemy or pretend they don't know you. Do not take this personally. It is simply their mind trying to return to their original life box. If you try to fight this by exposing the secret or causing a scene, you only degrade your own character. The highest form of power is to allow them to vanish into their chosen reality while you walk away cleanly, without leaving a stain on your own dignity. We must also talk about rebuilding your value metrics. When you are a secret option, your metrics for success become very distorted. You feel successful just because she sneaks away to see you for an hour, or because she chooses your call over her husband's. These are low-value wins. You must reset your standards. A real win is a partner who actively helps you build your empire, a partner who respects your time, and a partner whose loyalty is absolute and visible to the world. When you change what you measure as valuable, your attraction to hidden, messy situations will naturally die out. In the end, sleeping with a married woman is a lesson in human psychology that teaches you about the illusion of choice. You think you are choosing a special romance, but you are actually participating in a well-known pattern of emotional displacement. Reclaim your center. Pull your energy back from their broken home and invest it entirely into your own kingdom. Your name, your face, and your love should never be hidden in a dark corner. Stand up, walk into the light, and choose a life where your presence is celebrated openly, not managed secretly. Making it to this point says more than you think. Most people skim the surface. They hear just enough to react, but not enough to understand. You stayed, which means you're willing to sit with ideas, to question patterns, and to see things more clearly than most. That's where real growth begins. If this perspective gave you something to think about, stay connected. Subscribe, and be part of a space where we don't rush to judge. We learn to understand. Leave your thoughts below, not to argue, but to add depth to the conversation. Keep sharpening your awareness. I'll meet you in the next On.